Leon's point of view. Leon drives into the... Sorry. His boobs, his massive honkers, his huge honkers. Just please, just can't. Just let me have this moment to just... Oh, Leon Kennedy! You step out of the worn-out house, the door creaking behind you as it swings shut. The weight of your gear drags at your body, but it's not just the equipment, it's the years. You've been preparing for this night longer than you care to admit. Every step feels heavy, but you can't stop. Not now. Your gaze lingers on the windows. Inside, the shadows of your old life remain, a life that feels like a ghost now. Photographs on the walls, dust-covered remnants of forgotten hobbies. There was a time when you had dreams, other dreams. But they've long since crumbled, replaced by a singular, consuming purpose: hunting. You hear it. Birds flapping in a hurried ascent. You know what that means. Sunset is close. It's time to duel! The bonfire pierces the encroaching darkness, a lone beacon amidst the towering trees. You finish threading the barbed wire from tree to tree, building a harsh perimeter around the clearing, a trap with no escape. Your gaze drifts towards the horizon as the sun sinks lower, disappearing behind the trees, casting long shadows that stretch like dark fingers clawing at the ground. You need to be fast. They'll come soon. Outside the clearing as well? Only inside the clearing? I'ma be extra careful outside the clearing too. You extend the explosive beyond the perimeter, placing tripwires along the outer perimeter. If any of them manage to slip past the first line of defense, these will catch them. Tonight, there's no escape. The forest deepens into shadow as you finish setting the tripwires. You're not satisfied, but there's one last step. Pulling out a knife, you make a swift cut across your palm, letting your blood drip onto the soil. It's dark, almost black in the fading light, and the ground drinks it up, vanishing as quickly as it falls. You wrap the wound with a strip of cloth, tightening it until the pain is just a dull throb. You don't usually do this. They're already drawn to the living. But today is different. You need all of them to come. You've tried tracking them to their lairs before, but the tunnels are too winding, too deep, too impossible to navigate. So instead, you draw them out, just like how they lure humans, using their scent to pull people to their deaths. It's a brutal contest of hunters, and you intend to be the last one standing. Sliding the gas mask over your face, the rubber cool and constricting against your skin, you settle behind a tree. The sharp pang of isolation digs into you. You wish you didn't have to do this alone, but the remaining townsfolk have changed. Consumed by whatever the creatures emit, they've become something else, something hollow. You'll need to put a stop to this before they sacrifice someone else. The last rays of sunlight disappear, leaving a dense, suffocating silence. It's as if the forest itself is holding its breath, aware of what's coming. Your hands tremble slightly as you grip the flamethrower, its metal cold despite the sweat on your palms. As soon as the creatures step into the clearing, the explosives will rip through the first wave, and the barbed wire will hold the rest in place. Then more will come. You'll pick them off, wave by wave, until nothing's left but ash. After all these years of hunting, it all comes down to this tonight. Either you kill them all, or they finally take you. Leon's point of view. Leon drives into the... Sorry. His boobs, his massive honkers, his huge honkers. Just please, just can't. Just let me have this moment to just. Oh, Leon Kennedy! Leon Kennedy! Leon drives into the city, the streets dead and abandoned, another ghost town, courtesy of Umbrella. Oh man, boarded windows, doors nailed shut, like they're trying to keep something out, or in, like his massive tits. He wonders how many more are there. He thought that after Umbrella's downfall, they had dealt with all of them, but every now and then another one pops up. He feels it, a prickle on the back of his neck. His eyes flick to a cracked window as he passes, but there's nothing there. Just shadows, shifting with the last light of day. Hate it when the neighbors are this quiet. The sun sinks lower, bleeding orange and red across the sky. He sighs, tapping his fingers on the handlebars. He wanted to get here earlier, but the mission briefing dragged on and the local cops weren't exactly helpful. When asked if they'd seen anything strange, they all gave him the same blank stare. Nothing. Nope. Nothing, sir. He's not sure if they're lying, clueless, or just terrified. His GPS flashes, guiding him towards a lab on the outskirts. It's nestled in the forest, up on a hill. Easy enough, right? Just find the missing team, check the lab, and get out. Simple. Except, never is. Leon kills the engine and swings off the bike, the silence wrapping around him. The air feels wrong. Too still. The kind of stillness that gets under your skin. Okay, Leon. Just another spooky forest. What could go wrong? He moves on foot, the ground soft under his boots. Dead leaves muffling his steps. His hand hovers near his gun. The path is narrow, overgrown, and the shadows stretch out long in the fading light. Then he sees it, a flickering light through the trees. Leon stops, narrowing his eyes. Someone's here. Maybe it's the missing team, or something else. He steps off the path, crouching low behind a tree for cover, watching the bonfire pulse in the dark. Whoever's camping out here has terrible sense and ambiance. Then a faint smell hits him, sweet, cloying, almost floral. He grips his gun tighter, muscles tensing as its instincts kicks in. This isn't the usual rotting stench of BOWs. This is different. Wrong. Whatever's ahead is like it's calling for him. The last of the sunlight slips behind the trees. Darkness closes in, and the light flickers again, casting eerie shadows that seem to reach for him. He moves forward, slow and steady, his senses on high alert. He's done this before, more times than he cared to remember. Whatever's waiting in the dark, it's not gonna catch him off guard. Leon's head is getting foggy, his senses dulled. He can see the fire now, a huge bonfire, lighting up the dark. Spotting an opening, he steps forward, but something brushes against his chest. A wire. The faint beeping reaches him a second too late. Guess I really walked into that one. The tripwire triggers, a deafening blast tearing through the air. Wait a minute! Ah, shit! Was I too careful? Damn! You're shitting me! Damn! Okay, the tripwires will only be inside the clearing. They'll be drawn to the bonfire like moths to a flame. Concentrating the explosives within the clearing will ensure they're right where you want them when the trap springs. The forest deepens into shadows as you finish setting the tripwires. You nod, satisfied, but there's one last step. Pulling out a knife, you make a swift cut across your palm, letting your blood drip into the soil. Got it! All of this should be the same, except for the fact that maybe Leon doesn't explode, right? I don't blow up the love interest, right? The last of the sunlight slips behind the trees. Darkness closes in, and the light flickers again, casting eerie shadows that seems to reach for him. He moves forward, slow and steady, his senses on high alert. He's done this before, more times than he cared to remember. Whatever's waiting in the dark, it's not going to catch him off guard. I sure hope not! I still want my backshots, Leon Kennedy! You listen, breath fogging the inside of your gas mask. The forest feels suffocating, every shadow pressing in, thick with tension. A sharp, creaking noise breaks the silence, the sound of chitinous legs scraping over dry bark, the familiar clicks and snaps you've come to associate with the creatures. They're here. Your heart pounds, and you steady your breath, the filtered air, dry and stale against your lips. Fingers tightening around the flamethrower, you prepare to rise from your hiding spot, every muscle coiled. But then, movement catches your eye. A figure, slipping through the clearing. A man. You freeze, watching as he steps closer to your traps. Wait, is he... He's disabling your tripwires! Your pulse races, heart hammering in your ears. Without thinking, you sprint from your spot, weaving through the traps you've committed to memory. You! Stop! Your voice comes out muffled, distorted by the mask, but he halts, turning to face you. For a split second, you're taken aback. He's not what you expected. Sharp features, piercing eyes, striking in a way that seems to be out of place here, and massive chest! Not the kind of person you'd expect to stumble into a nightmare like this. Your gaze flicks down. Your gaze flicks to his hand, hovering near his gun. Posture tense and controlled. Definitely not a civilian. The hell do you think you're doing? Those traps are mine, my dude! I'd appreciate it if you didn't mess with them. He glances around at the scattered wires, looking almost amused. My bad. How many did you disable already? He tilts his head, thinking for a moment. A few. You curse under your breath, gripping the flamethrower tighter. Just your luck. A clueless outsider ruining the day you've waited years for. Why do you need so many explosives? I'm hunting. His eyes shift to the flamethrower in your hands, then to the barbed wire strung between trees. You have a rather unconventional way of hunting. You take a steadying breath. You have no time for this. You're not from this town, are you? You really should leave. Now. He gaze drifts to his girl. Tell me through the tree lines where you sense movement. The scent is starting to creep in. That sickly sweet, floral odor the creatures emit. He's not wearing a mask. Already you see a slight daze in his eyes. He won't last long if they get too close. The man shakes his head, taking a step closer. Not an option. I've got to get to that lab, and this is the only way through. You fidget with the flamethrower, torn between curiosity and frustration. Whoever he is, he needs to leave! You have no idea what's out there. Turn around. Wait. Just wait until morning. Whatever you're looking for at the lab, it's already been ransacked. But do whatever you want, just not right now. A familiar sound echoes through the forest, the same clicking, the same sickening creak. They're getting closer. He hears it too, his stance shifting, eyes narrowing. What exactly are you hunting? Before he can respond, yellow eyes blink to life at the edge of the woods, dozens of them, gleaming like fireflies in the dark, shifting as they lock onto you. They are more than you expected, likely drawn by scent as well. You can't fight them all without the explosives. Run! You don't wait for his response. Explosions erupt, the ground shaking underfoot, but the creatures charge through the smoke, faster than you anticipated. You dash forward, dodging traps, weaving through the maze of wires and explosives. Gunshots ring out behind you. You glance back, catching sight of him, firing at the creatures as he runs, somehow keeping pace. Save your bullets, it won't kill them. A sharp crack sounds, and suddenly, warm air seeps into the mask. A piece of debris must have punctured it. You're exposed now. No spare within reach. You can only keep running. Barreling through the underbrush, you fire the flamethrower behind you. A wave of fire scorching the air. The creatures shriek and stumble back, but keep coming. You see him aim, shooting at one of the explosives rigged to a nearby tree. The explosion rocks the clearing, and smoke blankets everything, the force erupting into chaos. You run until you're far away, gasping as you tear off the broken mask. The cool night air fills your lungs, but feels like failure. Everything you've built is gone. The traps, the explosives, all of it. Wasted. The man catches up, glancing back at the smoke and fire flickering in the distance. His gun is still in hand, and he looks unfazed. Quite the fireworks show back there. He looks at you, raising an eyebrow. What were those things? You fought them before, right? Your blood boils, and you throw the broken mask to the ground. I guess I'm not gonna blame him. It's my fault. I mean, it's really not. But I feel like the other's not going to lead anywhere good, so it's my fault. Should have kept going. Should have stuck with the plan and ignored the outsider. Your fury fades, giving way to a hollow sense of defeat. I prepared for this day for a long time. I was going to kill all of them. There's no way you could have taken them all down on your own. You shake your head, chuckling low as a tear prickles at your eyes. You have no energy left to argue. Right. Should have known. I already failed so many people. What's one more mistake, huh? Look, I didn't mean to mess things up. Leave, outsider, before you mess things up even further. It's not safe here. He narrows his eyes, look at you with a calm that only makes your frustration flare hotter. Not for me. For you. You're going to get yourself killed if you keep this up. Excuse me, you're the one who almost got yourself killed back there. I'm trained for this. I can handle it. You don't know these things like I do. They lure you with their scent. You want to get to the lab now? Go ahead. But you'll end up like everyone else who's tried. Dead. He pauses, and for the first time, you see his expression soften slightly as he studies you. Did you see a team come through here? A lot of people come through here. They go to the lab, get what they want, and they leave us to our fate. Or they go and never come back. Whoever you're looking for, they're probably dead. Or worse. The man looks back towards the forest, his expression turning somber, thoughtful. I need to go to the lab and figure out what happened to them. I'm not leaving until I do. You shake your head, unsurprised. Of course. They're all the same. Good luck. You'll need it. Without waiting for a response, you turn and march away, ignoring the ache in your chest. You'll have to start all over again. Rebuild. Rearm. Your hand finds the pendant resting against your chest. You grip it tightly, letting the familiar shape press into your skin. I'm sorry. You storm back to the house, slamming the door behind you. The gear drops from your hands, but you barely notice. All you can think about is him, the arrogant outsider, with a stoic face. You grit your teeth. He's going to get himself killed, you know it. He doesn't even have a mask. The second he gets close to the lab, he's as good as dead. You told him to leave, warned him what was out there. If he dies, that's on him. You owe him nothing. He ruined your plan. Your final chance at saving the rest of this town. But the thought of him stumbling into the lab, clueless, gnaws at you. Why the hell should you care? You shouldn't. You don't.
Well, clearly you do.
Clearly you do. Despite the hunter's aggression, Leon decides to heed her warning. He waits until early morning before heading to the lab, her sharp words still lingering in his mind. He can't shake the thought that she left too abruptly, without giving him a real chance to help. He could have used more intel and maybe kept an eye on her too. The last thing he wants is to watch another life get swallowed by Umbrella's mess. They've taken too much already. He shakes his head, recalling the fierce determination in her eyes, the way she seemed set on wiping out those creatures at any cost. There's no doubt in his mind that BOWs are involved here. He's seen enough of Umbrella's twisted work to recognize the signs. It's almost impressive, in a grim way, that she's held her ground for so long. The lab looms ahead, abandoned and half crumbled. He pushes through the entrance. The hunter hadn't been lying. The place has been thoroughly ransacked, paper scattered, equipment smashed. Whatever was here is long gone. Perfect. More loose ends. Umbrella had so many labs scattered around the globe, it's been nearly impossible to track them all down. Some, just like this one, escaped the government's eye, but not the mercenaries. He looks around, wondering what they stole this time, and what it might lead to. Another outbreak? Another bioweapon? It's always something. As soon as he finds out what this new threat is, the better. Maybe the rest of the town and that hunter can still be saved. He pauses, his mind drifting back to Spain, the village, the people. So many lives destroyed, so many people who'd never had a chance. He clenches his fist, wishing again that he could stop it all. For good. But nothing is ever that simple. He's just one man, fighting an endless war. Still, he'll do what he can, like he always does. He pulls himself back to the present, focusing on the task. After rummaging through a few cabinets, he finds a torn notebook, its pages smeared with age and grime. It seems like a personal diary of the lead scientist. Ooh, I kinda like this. April 12, 1988. Initial tests with the mold on humans have been promising, though at a great cost. Mortality rates are high, but I am confident we will create a host strong enough to receive the progenitor virus. November 3rd, 1990. They seem to have found a way to reduce mortality rate, but the subjects are changing, disturbingly so. They're becoming more moth-like, though imperfectly. The process of HDT appears to be responsible. These hybrids are now half human, half insect, emitting a powerful scent that draws humans towards them. The smell acts like the pheromones of female moths, inducing a heightened arousal state in those nearby. I mean, I knew what kind of game this was gonna be. I did not think it was gonna show up in the scientist's notes. I did not think that the people in this town were inflicted with the horny. I'm sorry. Wait, sorry. Masks are now mandatory for all personnel in the test areas. Subjects must remain contained at all costs. This might prove useful to capture new test subjects. August 14, 1992. The townsfolk whisper about a creature of folklore roaming the forest, which serves our purpose well. A new development. Subjects have become reproducing. The larvae feed exclusively on human flesh. I am uncertain if these offsprings will be able to receive the virus, but it's a potential breakthrough. We will continue observation. March 2nd, 1993. Disappointing results. The offspring are weak, unable to withstand viral integration. It appears that the strength of the parents is critical. Only the strongest host can pass on resilience. The weaker offspring have been discarded. I will require more test subjects. Stronger, young adults, preferably those in their physical prime. This town's population will be depleted soon if we're not careful. Leon flips the page, but dozens of entries are missing. Years torn away, leaving only the final one. Frantic, scrawled handwriting. as if the scientist had written it in his last desperate moments. My ass! February 8th, 2003. Umbrella has cut us off. The facility is compromised. Someone set the creatures loose. They're everywhere. And the staff have begun to fall. I've managed to escape with my mask intact, but the end is near. There's no redemption for me. I will seek forgiveness, all the same. The church. Perhaps it's the last place I'll find peace. After that, I leave this cursed town for good. The church, huh? He radios Hunnigan, relaying the situation and the contents of the diary. She promises to notify the higher-ups and arrange for reinforcements. But, of course, it'll take time. Leon sighs. Reinforcements always take time. I'll send you the blueprints we have on file for the lab. There's mention of an underground facility. Looks like you'll need a key card to get in. Understood. Thanks. He follows her directions and finds the door to the underground section. But as she warned, it's locked tight. He'll need to get in if he wants to find out what happened to the missing team. Just as he's about to search elsewhere, he hears a faint noise. Then, a familiar scent reaches him, sickly sweet, cloying, with a strange floral edge. Didn't the hunters say these things only came out at night? The smell thickens, his head swimming slightly. He snaps his gun up, instincts kicking in as something shuffles closer in the dark. He fires, the gunshot ringing out, but the creature barely slows, advancing with a twisted, insectoid screech. Then flames light up the room. He turns, catching sight of the hunter. Her face, obscured by her gas mask. Relief flares up, but it's brief. Which part of bullets don't work didn't you get? Or do you just like wasting ammo? Leon's jaw tightens, annoyance replacing his earlier relief. Of course she has to make this difficult. Oh, it's me! It's me! The man catches up with you outside, his eyes narrowed, but you can almost see a flicker of relief beneath his guarded expression. You were following me? Next time, if you want a closer look, maybe just ask. I wanted to see if you were as competent as you claimed. You give him a once-over, unimpressed. Clearly not. I had everything under control. You scoff, not even trying to hide your frustration. Sure. If you plan to stick around, you'll need a mask, outsider. I won't always be here to save your ass. Name's Leon. I figured that out myself, thanks. You shake your head and turn on your heel, ready to leave him to his fate. I found a door to an underground section of the lab. You pause, glancing back. The creatures probably hide there during the day. That's where their nests are. You'd never be able to kill them all without going down there. And, to get in, we'll need a key card. He nods towards the lab entrance and looks back at you, his gaze steady. And supplies, if we want to blow this place sky high. He raised an eyebrow, skeptical. We? I'm not thrilled about it, but you're going to keep hunting them anyway, right? Might as well join forces. You search his face for any signs of deceit, but he just stares back, annoyingly calm. You don't trust this guy, but you're willing to take any chance to end this, even if it means teaming up. Say please. What? Say please and I'll help you. Are you serious? I'm the one doing the helping here. You cross your arms and wait, watching him wrestle with himself, his pride visibly taking a hit. Finally, he sighs. I'm gonna make him do this again when he gives me backshots. I mean, when I take the backshots from him, you're not giving me anything. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it like the king I am. You sure do make a guy work for it, huh? Fine. Please. You start to smile as he completes the sentence. Please try not to enjoy this too much. Your smile fades into a frown. Oh, trust me, I won't. You pull an old, worn map of the town from your jacket. Leon leans in to look at the map, his shoulder brushing against yours. His
Thick shoulders.
For a moment, you catch the scent of him, sweat and smoke from the fight, mixed with something faintly sharp, like aftershave. It's oddly distracting, and you step back with a glare. Here's the layout of the town. Most of the gas masks have been destroyed by the townsfolk, but we might find a few at the... You swallow your throat, tightening. Fire station. His eyes flick to you, catching the hesitation in your voice. Why did the townsfolk destroy the mask? Memories flash through your mind of glassy-eyed townsfolk in a crazed frenzy, their minds lost to the pheromones, the endless orgies. Oh no, wait, are we gonna lose Leon Kennedy to the endless orgy? The way they practically worship the creatures now, like twisted prophets of some new, grotesque religion. The grotesque religion of orgies! It's against their beliefs. Had a few spare ones, but they got destroyed yesterday thanks to a noisy outsider. Maybe you should have kept them somewhere safer. Maybe you never should have come here. A faint smirk tugs at his lips, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Then I'd have missed out on meeting such a charming person as yourself. You glare, hating the way he just won't back down, the way he seems to find humor in every jab. And where can we find the explosives? You jab a finger at a spot on the map. Here, the construction site. There should be some left in the crates. With any luck, they're still intact. Leon studies the map with a furrowed brow, then nods. The key card is probably at the church. Found a note about it back in the lab. He looks up, meets your gaze with that infuriating calm. You're the local. Where do you want to start? Fire station. You take a deep breath and walk inside the fire station, just as empty and abandoned as it was the last time you came here. But now, standing inside it again, you feel the weight pressing down harder than before. The memories flood back, uninvited. The sound of your father's voice, the sight of him in his gear, the pride in his eyes when he'd talk about the work he did. It's been years, but somehow, the pain still feels fresh, sharp as broken glass. Leon scans the surroundings, his gaze darting around the room, assessing every potential threat and exit. His stance betrays his training, all business, all vigilance. You, on the other hand, are just trying to keep yourself together, forcing one foot in front of the other. The last thing you want is for him to see how much this place affects you. The layout's simple. First floor has a main room, storage, some lockers. Upstairs, risky. There's probably nothing we need up there. You know an awful lot. You catch the flicker of curiosity in his eyes, and attention seizes in your chest. Memories flash too fast to block them out. Your father's gruff laugh echoing off the walls, the smell of burning wood from the old stove, the sound of men joking, slapping each other on the back. The ache you've kept buried for so long sharpens, settling like stone in your chest. I came here a lot when I was younger. You keep your voice flat, but Leon's gaze narrows, as though he can see right through the wall you're trying to put up. He's not stupid. He knows there's more you're not seeing. For a moment, his brow furrows, his expression softening just enough that it makes you uneasy. You can feel him weighing his words, like he's considering saying something kind, something that might crack through the armor you've built around yourself. If this place means something to you, we can... Don't! Your voice comes out sharper than you intend, cutting him off before he can finish. You don't care. The last thing you need is him poking around in parts of you that aren't his business. Leon's jaw tightens, his mouth pressing into a thin line. For a moment, he just looks at you, an unreadable expression in his eyes. Finally, he gives a short nod, clearly deciding to drop it. Fine. The word lands heavy between you, thickening the silence. You can feel the distance growing, as if both of you are retreating behind invisible walls, mirroring each other's defense. The quiet stretches, taut, with unspoken things neither of you are willing to acknowledge. At last, Leon jerks his head towards the staircase, his voice cold and brisk. We should check the second floor too. Could be more supplies up there. The structure's a mess. It's better if we stick to the first floor. Make sure we don't miss anything. His eyes narrow, his stance firm, as if he's digging in his heels just to challenge you. That's exactly why we should go up. The townsfolk probably haven't searched there. Might be worth the risk. The frustration coils tighter in your chest, the weight of the memories pressing down like lead. You want to tell him to back off, to stay out of places he doesn't belong, but the stubborn set off his jaw mirrors your own, and you know he's not going to back down. Let's try. You grit your teeth, unwilling to argue further. Fine. Let's go to the second floor then. Together, you make your way up the creaking staircase. The floorboards groan underfoot, and each step feels like it could be the last. Your eyes scan the empty, dilapidated space, searching for anything useful. Just as you're about to turn back, Leon gestures to a dusty corner near a row of broken lockers. Found something. 2 gas masks lie there, half hidden beneath some debris, but before you can respond, the floor beneath you gives a sudden, violent lurch. You let out a gasp, stumbling, as the wood cracks and shifts under your feet. Leon reacts instantly, grabbing you by the arm and pulling you against him, just as the ground crumbles beneath you both. You crash down together, the impact sending a jolt of pain through your body. For a moment, you're too stunned to move, lying tangled in the debris with Leon's arm still wrapped around you. His breathing is heavy, his face close enough that you can feel the warmth radiating off of him. Guess I was right about the floor. You shrug his arm off as you push yourself up. Thanks for almost getting us killed. Leon scowls, his voice dripping with sarcasm. You're welcome. You grab the 2 masks, your fingers trembling just slightly, and turn to head back down the stairs, refusing to look his way. As you're moving, your hand brushes against something small and solid in the dust. You stop, bending down to pick it up, and your breath catches. It's a photograph. Worn and faded, edges curling from age. Your father and his colleagues, smiling and alive, their faces blurred out, unmistakable. You swallow hard, a lump forming in your throat. For a second, you consider showing it to Leon, sharing that piece of yourself, just this once. But then the walls come back up, solid and unyielding. You fold the photo and slid it into your pocket, its edges digging into your skin like a reminder. Leon's voice breaks through the quiet, snapping you out of the moment. Find anything else? Your hand tightens around the photo, holding it deeper in your pocket. No, let's just leave. He doesn't question it, and you follow him out of the station, leaving behind the memories and the ghosts that cling to this place like shadows. The silence between you is as heavy as ever, and though you walk side by side, you feel miles apart. Alright, next. Damn! By the time they reach her house, the sky had deepened to a dark, heavy blue. The evening chill has settled around them. She stops abruptly at her door, noticing a bloody note tacked to the wood, a smudge of crimson smeared across the words. She reads it with a scoff, crumples it in her hand, and tosses it aside without a single thought. Leon glances down, catching the streaks of ink mixed with dried blood. What does it say? She gives a dry, humorless laugh. One of town's leaders is warning me off, saying I've killed too many of their precious creatures. They don't like the balance being disrupted. She shrugs, an edge of bitterness in her voice. You tried to stop me before. Nothing new. Are they going to come after you for that? Let them try. Her tone is sharp, edged with awareness that speaks of repetition. If they do, I have other hideouts. She pushes the door open, stepping inside without looking back. Leon follows. The place hits him like a wall. A strange, stifling mix of mothballs and plant oils. The windows sealed tightly, curtains drawn to block out any stray pheromones. As she moves through the small space, her movements are precise, each step purpose-driven. She glides over to a concealed compartment in the floor, pulls it out, and retrieves a gallon of fuel, refilling the flamethrower with a practiced hand. She doesn't spare him a glance, acting as if he were just another fixture in the room, an afterthought. Leon watches her, seeing himself reflected in her harsh routines, the methodical way she checks every corner. Every movement screams survival, but it's more than that. She's wrapped herself in layers of armor, bound tight by invisible barbed wires, keeping the world at arm's length. He's worn that same armor himself, felt the sting of each barb, and he knows how hard it is to let anyone get close. No. You sit on a worn chair, focusing on tending to your wounds, cleaning and wrapping them with quick, experienced movements. Leon is scanning your space, his eyes drawn to a small cluster of faded photographs on a shelf. His fingers hover over one of them, hesitating. When did this all start? You keep your eyes on your wound, tightening the bandages just a little too hard. 3 years ago? A pause. Then you add, almost as if forcing yourself to speak. The creatures have been around for as long as I can remember. They take a few people each month, and no one would care. Unless it was family. Just some old folklore. A story to scare kids into staying inside after dark. You take a breath, fighting down the memories, clawing their way up. But when the lab shut down, everything changed. They came every night like clockwork, taking anyone outside after dark. Anyone who didn't make it inside was gone by morning. Now, it seems they hunt whenever they need to. It helps that the townspeople offer them sacrifices every week, without fail. The room goes silent, your words hanging in the air like a shadow. You brace yourself for him to ask about the people in the photos, about your family, about the ones you lost. But instead, his voice is quieter, weighed with something you can't quite place. Why didn't you leave? You freeze, hand still on the bandages. You don't answer right away, letting his questions settle into the silence. Then you resume to tending your wound, though your voice is flat and controlled. I made a promise. I'm not leaving until every last one of those things is dead. No point in a promise if you're not around to see it through. He nods towards the wounds you've earned along the way, and you roll your eyes. Spare me the lecture. Someone had to fight. It just ended up being me. He steps closer, and your body goes rigid, instinctively pulling back. But he holds out a small tin, something herbal and pungent, with a mix of earthy scents, lavender and other sharper herbs. What is this? For injuries, works wonders. Hesitantly, you take it, your eyes never leaving his. You study him for a beat, finally breaking the silence. Who exactly are you? He looks at you, his expression unreadable, a flicker of something cautious before he answers. Government agent. It makes sense now. His calm in the face of the creatures, the way he handled himself during the day. But that doesn't explain everything. You said you were trained for this kind of situation. How many times have you dealt with things like this? Too many. He sighs, and for a moment, his face softens, his guard slipping just enough for you to catch a glimpse of something deeper. I was a rookie cop the first time it happened. I had to learn the hard way, and afterwards, I didn't exactly have a choice. For a brief second, you see something raw in his eyes, something that feels uncomfortably close to your own reflection. You didn't have a choice either, not in any of this. Why didn't you leave? Surprise flickers across his face, and for an instant, you catch a glimpse of something like pain. It's not that simple. You think you might finally get something real out of him, a piece of truth to hold onto, but then, just as quickly, his walls snap back into place. Someone has to fight. Just ended up being me. You let out a hollow chuckle, but stop yourself before it fully escapes. You can't afford to get comfortable around him. Even if he doesn't seem like a threat now, you remind yourself, he's just another outsider. For all you know, he's only being nice to get under your skin, to make you lower your guard, only to leave, like everyone else has. You shove the tin of herbal medicine back at him, a bit more forcefully than necessary. Here, Agent, you'll need it more than me. He looks down at it, raising an eyebrow as he takes it back, his expression somewhere between amused and unimpressed. Also, considering, Resident Evil 4's inventory, where is he keeping it? Where is he keeping everything? I want to know. Your reckless confidence is almost charming. I could say the same to you. Careful, don't fall in love. Don't worry, not happening. Good. You settle onto the couch, lying down with half an eye on the door, the other on Leon, who sits a few feet away with his back to the wall, quietly disassembling and cleaning his guns. Your eyes close, but your mind stays alert, every creak of the old house keeping you tethered to consciousness. It isn't just the threats outside that keep you awake. It's a stranger sharing your space, the one person who could throw everything you worked for into chaos. Sleep. I'll take first watch. You start to protest, but he cuts you off with a steady look. If we're going to be a team, you'll need to trust me. You don't respond, but you allow yourself to sink into a light, restless sleep, your senses half-tuned to the sounds of the night. The hours stretch on, the room cloaked in heavy silence, and yet, with Leon there, for the first time in months, it doesn't feel quite as suffocating. Despite the friction, the guarded words, and the walls you both refuse to lower, his presence makes the silence feel just a little less unbearable. You wake up to the sound of soft clattering in the kitchen. Your muscles are stiff, your body still on high alert, but as you blink your eyes open, the scent of something cooking hits your senses, something you haven't smelled in a long time. You sit up, rubbing the sleep from your eyes. The morning light filters through the cracked window, casting muted shadows across the room. When you finally focus, you see him, Leon, standing by the stove, frying something in the pan, his back turned towards you. What are you doing? Who said you could touch my stuff? Leon doesn't even turn around. His shoulders shift slightly, as if brushing off your comment. Morning to you too. You walk over, eyeing the state of your kitchen. You're making a mess. A little mess never killed anyone, unlike other things around here. You're welcome, by the way. You cross your arms, leaning against the wall. Grateful? Sure. But no way are you going to give him the satisfaction of knowing that. I didn't ask you to cook. He plates the food and sets it down on the table, gesturing to it with a casual wave. You eye the meal with narrowed eyes, suspicious but intrigued. Leon shrugs. Dig in. Or don't. More for me. You sit down reluctantly, glancing at the food. Simple but warm. The smell is actually kinda nice, though you'd never admit that either. It's better than anything you'd had in a while. You pick up a fork, stabbing into the food without much ceremony, but you're already feeling a little less irritated. Where are we going today? You ask, trying to steer the conversation back to something practical, something that doesn't feel domestic. Leon sits across from you, shrugging as he eats. Your call. Construction. We get the boom boom. Why did I call it the boom boom? The construction site looks the same as you remember. Rusting metal frames, cracked concrete, and piles of debris waiting to collapse at any moment. A maze of danger, even before the creatures started to roam. You've gotten most of the explosives out over the years, but there were always a few crates and places too risky to reach on your own. Maybe now, with Leon's help, you can finally grab the rest. As you lead him through the site, You feel the weight of his gaze scanning the area, already assessing, always alert. He moves like a trained agent, calculated, confident. He makes it all look so easy, like he's strolling through a park instead of a half-collapsed death trap. Then, voices echo through the steel beams, faint but unmistakable. You and Leon freeze at the same time. We need to clear all this junk out. She's still using those damn explosives. I don't know where she keeps finding more of them. Shit. You can't see them, but you can hear their footsteps crunching through the rubble. Too many of them to handle head-on. Tension coils in your gut as you look at Leon, who's already watching you with that annoyingly calm expression. If we want to search the place, we need to get rid of them. Or we could just sneak past them. You shoot him a withering glare, voice dripping with sarcasm. Oh yeah, because that's worked so well for me in the past. These people aren't exactly blind, Leon. Getting them to leave is easier. Sneaking past them is smarter. Less chance of getting caught. The air between you crackles, each of you digging in your heels, neither willing to back down. I trust the agent! You let out a frustrated sigh, but relent. Fine, let's do it your way this time, again. You both crouch low, moving quietly through the side. Leon takes the lead, his movements smooth and silent. You follow, every muscle tense, hyper-aware of the townsfolk patrolling nearby. The faint sound of their voices is a constant reminder of the danger, and for a moment, you can almost feel his confidence seeping into you, steadying your own steps. After what feels like forever, you reach a cluster of crates. You start rummaging through them as quietly as possible, but they're empty. You glance at Leon, frustration simmering. Searching stealthily will take too long. Then, a voice shatters the silence. Who's there? Stop right there! Your heart lurches, and before you can even process the words, gunshots ring out, echoing through the crumbling site. You and Leon bolt, adrenaline flooding your veins as you scramble over broken concrete and piles of rusted metal. Shouts chase after you, growing louder, closer. You stumble, and Leon's hand shoots out, gripping your arm and pulling you up just in time, keeping you from face-planting into a pile of debris. Finally, you manage to lose them, ducking into a quieter, hidden section of the construction site. Once you're clear, you pull your arm free, wincing as a sharp pain flares up in your leg. Great plan, Leon! Real smooth! At least we got a workout. Cardio's important. You roll your eyes, but hold back a harsher retort. The two of you search the crates nearby, working quickly. After a few minutes, your hand finally lands on a stash of explosives, and you lift it with a sigh of relief, but a part of you wonders if it'll be enough. You move to a different crate and try to pry it open. Let me. I can do it. I know. I just don't want you to get hurt. You give him a skeptical look, arching an eyebrow. Look at you, being a gentleman. I always am. You huff as he steps in, taking your spot with that infuriating calm. Ooh! I'm sorry, just a little bit of skin. But in his eagerness, his shirt snags on a jagged piece of metal jutting out from the crate, tearing down one side to expose a strip of bare skin. Ooh, you slutty man. You can't help the smirk that tugs at your lips. Nice one, eh? Oh my god, my character's just as feral as I am. Oh no, wait! Is it a horny virus? He looks down at the ruined shirt, unimpressed. Just what I needed. You turn back to the explosives, putting them in the bag, trying to ignore the rustling fabric behind you. I'm sorry. I'm so enamored right now. Just, oh my god. Can we keep him like this? Please. I want to, Leon Kennedy. Oh god. But when you glance over, he's shrugging off the shirt entirely, leaving his upper body bare, every line of muscle and scar exposed in the dim light. For a second, you're caught off guard, your eyes lingering on the hard planes of his chest and the subtle movements of his shoulders. You force yourself to look away, jaw clenched, but he notices, and he's clearly not letting you off the hook. Didn't think you'd get distracted that easily. You clench your jaw, willing your pulse to steady. I'm just wondering if you plan on strutting around like that. We're here for supplies, not a show. He chuckles, tossing the torn shirt aside with a smirk. As much as you'd love that, I've got a spare on my bike. Unless, of course, you want me to stay like this. Without missing a beat, you raise an eyebrow, leaning in just enough to make him hesitate. And what if I do? He blinks, clearly not expecting that. You let a small, mocking smile slip through before pulling back. Relax. I'm messing with you. As if I'd ever want that. Let's go. He grabs the bag from you, a hint of a frown, creasing his brows as he mutters under his breath. Could have fooled me. You roll your eyes, turning on your heel, and head down towards the bike. But as you walk, you can feel his gaze lingering on you, like he's trying to puzzle something out. The ride back to her place is shrouded in the rich amber glow of the setting sun, casting long shadows across the path. Leon tries to focus on the road, but it's hard to ignore the warmth of her thighs pressed against him, the way her grip tightens every time they hit a bump. She's distracting, in an infuriating, impossible to ignore way. As they near her place, he spots a small group gathered on a street corner, their voices low but thick with tension. She taps his shoulder, signaling for him to stop. They both listen, half hidden in the deepening shadows. Bodies in the forest. She's done it again. She needs to be stopped. Leon's gaze shifts, taking in the bruises and scars wrapped around the group's wrist, legs, even their necks, dark marks that look like chains, binding them to something unseen.
She'll get what she deserves. Soon.
He glances back at her. She rolls her eyes, acting unfazed by their words, but he doesn't miss the way her hands clench the handles by the bike's seat, knuckles turning white. Eventually, the group disperses and Leon nudges the bike forward, guiding it through the empty streets as dusk descends around them. Silence stretches between them, thick and charged, until he breaks it. What's with the scars? She's quiet for a moment, gaze fixed on the road ahead, her voice dropping to a low, almost resigned tone. They tie themselves down while they breathe in the creature's scent. Keeps them from wandering into the woods and getting killed, but the aphrodisiac effect still lingers. They're too far gone. All of them. A shiver runs down his spine. Unexpected and unwelcome, he decides to shift the mood. Well, seems you're pretty popular around here. She huffs, as if shaking off the weight of the conversation. I'm the most popular in town. Get your facts right. He accelerates the bike, jolting it forward as they weave through the empty streets, her arms instinctively wrap around his waist, pressing her body firmly against his back. Glancing over his shoulder, he smirks. You better hold on, Miss Popular.
I'll hold on, all right. Just tight enough to choke you out.
She pinches his side, hard, and he fakes a yelp of pain through a grin, catching the smile in her voice. At least he managed to break through her walls, even if just for a moment. Now, back to me. You sit on the floor, turning your focus to your bandages. Leon managed to lift the mood a little on the ride back, but the heaviness still lingers. Sadness twists in your gut as you remember the faces of the townsfolk you once knew. People who had welcomed you, people whose stories you'd visited, whose homes you'd seen with your family. Now, they're hollow, driven only by the urge to kill you. The memory hits harder than you'd like. You reach for a spot on your back where an old wound has started to ache, maybe even open up again. But you can't reach it. Cursing softly, you drop your hand, feeling both exhausted and helpless. Leon moves closer, crouching beside you, His face is unreadable as his gaze shifts to your wounds, something unspoken flickering in his eyes. Can I? Yeah, sure. You hesitate, then mix up bone-deep exhaustion and something deeper, something harder to name, unsettling you. But after a beat, you nod. His hands move to your back, the press of his fingers steady, careful. The touch is firm, yet gentle. You feel the warmth of his fingertips, the weight of his focus, and you flinch, unprepared for the unexpected tenderness. A lump rises in your throat, and you realize that it's been years since anyone's touched you like this, with such care. It hits you harder than any wound could. Did it hurt? No. You keep your gaze fixed ahead, focusing on the sharp, earthy scent of the herbs rather than the heat of his hands on your skin. But it's impossible to ignore him completely. He asks where the spare gauze is, and you mumble its location, barely aware of the words leaving your mouth. When he finishes, his thumb lingers, grazing over your skin, as if he can't quite bring himself to let go. Your pulse races, an involuntary reaction you're certain he feels under his fingertips. The realization snaps you out of it, and you push yourself up quickly, turning to face him. Thank you. The words die on your lips as you catch sight of him. A half-formed laugh bubbling up instead. Leon tilts his head, confused. What? What happened? His hair is tangled with cobwebs and bits of dust, probably from when he reached up for the gauze. You try to hold back your amusement, but it's impossible. Nothing, Spider Boy. Leon's hand immediately goes to his head, fingers brushing through his hair. Perfect. Just the look I was going for. Dungeon chic. Your laughter spills over, breaking the silence. There's too much webbing and he can't seem to clear it. Don't, idiot. Here, let me do it. He goes still as you reach for him, fingers working carefully through the strands of his hair. The room falls quiet again, the silence thickening around you as you pick out each bit of webbing. His breathing slows, deepen, and when your fingers brush against his scalp, you feel his chest rise, a slight hitch in his breath. You keep moving, but there's a strange awareness between you, a heightened focus in each movement, each accidental brush of your fingers. For a moment, he lifts his eyes, meeting yours. They're darker, softer, watching you with an intensity that makes your heart skip. You can feel the warmth of him, smell the faint scent of gunpowder and leather that clings to him, and when his gaze drops to your mouth, he lets out a breath. Small, almost soundless, but heavy. His shoulders tense, like he's holding himself back, fighting some internal battle. Your pulse hammers, your fingers pausing in his hair, frozen by the realization that his hand is hovering close to your waist, close enough that you feel its warmth even without the touch. The moment stretches, something electric in the air between you both, your breath mingling in the charged quiet. Oh, wait. You pause, holding his gaze for a second longer, the air thickening between you. Leon shifts, blinking as if breaking a spell, then shakes his head, taking a half step back, his eyes darting everywhere but at you. You clear your throat, hoping he doesn't hear the faint tremor in it. I'll take the first watch tonight. You should rest. He watches you, almost like he's about to argue, but something in your expression, or maybe in his own exhaustion, stops him. He gives a small, reluctant nod, then settles down on the couch. You watch as he finally lets his guard drop, even if only for a moment, his shoulders relaxing into the cushions as his eyes fall shut. You glance down at your fingers, the tingle lingering, reminding you of the warmth that's still caught between you both. The warmth of the sunset fades slowly, casting the room in muted shadows, soft and heavy. You settle onto the floor, flamethrower in hand, half alert to every shift, every quiet sound from where Leon sleeps. Despite the pull of exhaustion, you resist, staying alert, eyes sharp as you keep watch. Just as your mind begins to drift, a soft, choked sound pierces the silence, half muffled, yet unmistakable. Leon stirs restlessly, his face twisted in the dim light, caught in the throes of whatever nightmares haunt him. The faint, pained sounds feel like a punch to the chest, striking too close. You can't bear it. Without thinking, you cross the room, sitting beside him, and place a hand on his shoulder, gently shaking him awake. Leon, wake up! His eyes fly open, wide and unfocused, his gaze meeting yours with a mix of fear and confusion. His breath is uneven, and for a moment, he doesn't move, doesn't speak, as though he's still trapped somewhere else. Slowly, his gaze sharpens, taking in the familiar surroundings. He rubs a shaky hand over his face, his forehead damp with sweat. A faint shiver runs through him. You're unused to offering comfort, unfamiliar with the vulnerability of it, but you remember small, distant gestures, how your parents would hold you, ground you when the night grew too dark. Breathe with me, all right? Just take it one breath at a time. Leon takes a slow, shaky breath, mirroring your calm inhale, his chest rising in sync with yours. A hint of relief crosses his face as he follows your lead, his breaths becoming steadier with each inhale. Acting on instinct, you lean in closer, your hands lingering on his shoulder. His body shifts towards yours, unconsciously seeking out warmth and steadiness. He presses closer, his hand fixing its way to the small of your back, his fingers flexing as if searching for something solid to hold on to. It's a bit much. I know what scares me more. Things I've seen, or the idea that this might be the rest of my life. I barely remember what normal even feels like. Without thinking, you pull him in tighter, committing the feel of his warmth and the steady press of his weight against you to memory. I get it. I wish I didn't, but I do. He hums softly, a sound halfway between relief and resignation, his tension melting as he lets himself lean into you. His breathing steadies, and for a moment, the two of you are wrapped in a shared silence, the kind that feels less empty and more whole. You start to imagine, just for a second, what a life like this would be, where these quiet, stolen moments aren't so rare, where his touch isn't fleeting. Then, as if sensing the shift, he abruptly pulls back, his gaze drops, and he clears his throat, a barrier rising again between you. Thanks. I'll keep watch now. Won't be able to fall asleep anyway. He rises to his feet, stepping towards the kitchen, but not before you catch a brief flicker in his eyes, a look that mirrors the feeling still lingering on your skin, the strange, subtle ache left by his warmth. Is it the horny-verse? Silently, you take his spot on the couch, your mind spinning, replaying the warmth, the closeness, the way he'd held on to you for that brief, charged moment. You know rest won't come easily tonight. He watches her as she sleeps, her face softened in the quiet peace of it. The comfort between them tonight had been good, too good, unbelievably so. He shouldn't have let himself get so attached. He knows better than anyone how quickly trauma binds people, weaving fragile connections from shared pain. But soon he'll be gone, off to fight some other nightmare in some other cursed place. She could still have a life after this, something steady, something real, something he gave up a long time ago. It's too late for him. He's been carrying this weight for far too long to think he could ever put it down. The idea of a future, of a life beyond the fight, hovers in the back of his mind like a cruel joke, something he refuses to reach for. He won't let himself hope for anything beyond survival. Hope is dangerous. He can't afford it. You wake to the soft light of early morning filtering through the sealed windows, a quiet stillness hanging in the air. For a moment, you let yourself lie there, gathering the fractured pieces of last night in your mind. His warmth, the way he'd leaned into your embrace before pulling away. The echo of it lingers, a faint ache that tightens in your chest. But when you finally sit up, any trace of that moment is gone. Leon stands near the door, his back to you, as he checks his gear, his movement sharp and efficient, a steely resolve, masking any vulnerability he'd shown. He doesn't look at you, doesn't even acknowledge your presence as you rise. The contrast is jarring, the memory of last night's closeness dissolving into the cold distance of his posture. Breakfast is on the table. Eat. We need to move. You frown, an edge of frustration tugging at you. His tone is clipped, his eyes hard as he straps on his gear, every action radiating an almost palpable wall of distance. It's as if he's put up another layer of armor overnight, shutting you out entirely. Good morning to you too. He pauses, and for a split second, you catch a flicker of something almost guilty on his face, but it's gone as quickly as it appears, his gaze hardening as he turns back to his gear. How do you feel? Fine. Don't get the wrong idea about yesterday. His words sting, colder than you'd expected. You glare, refusing to let him see how much they affect you. Same. Didn't mean anything. You're still insufferable. Good. Good. You square your shoulders, swallowing down your own frustration as you gather your things, each movement pointed and deliberate. After last night, this cold detachment feels like a slap, a calculated retreat back into distance. One more stop and then you're nearly free of this hellhole and everyone in it, right? He glances at you, his jaw tightening, as if holding back a response. For a second, you wonder if he'll soften, but his face stays set, a mask of indifference. Right. It's a dismissal. Plain and simple. You force yourself to look unfazed as you gulp down the breakfast he prepared, refusing to let him see how much his sudden shift had gotten under your skin. The silence between you is thick and heavy, each of you moving with a determination that borders on anger. You spend the day lugging equipment back and forth to your hideout near the lab, loading up on fuel and explosives, taking turns on Leon's bike. The work is grueling, made worse by the tense silence that lingers between you. You barely speak, and when you do, it's clipped, cold, a silent truce at best. By the time you reach the church, the sun is dipping low, casting the place in a shadowed crimson glow. Everything feels on edge, and you can't tell if it's him or the damn mission. You test the door, but it's locked tight, so you and Leon find an open window, pushing aside scattered debris as you climb inside. The smell hits you immediately, thick decay, clinging to the air like a warning. Your stomach twists. The interior is in disarray, overturned pews, shattered glass littering the floor, dried bloodstains smeared on the walls. Near the altar, bones and tattered clothing lie in a haphazard pile, some looking fresher than others. A chill runs down your spine. Have the townsfolk been using this place for sacrifices? Moving cautiously, you scan for the keycard until Leon gestures up the wooden balcony, pointing to a white lab coat hanging loosely over the railing. A skeleton slumps over it, twisted and limp. I'll go get it. No, I will. His gaze snaps to you, cold and challenging. If you're so eager to get yourself killed, go find some other way to do it. You clench your fists, stepping up to him, close enough to see the hard line of his jaw. This man grates on you, always assuming he knows best. The frustration, the tension is coiled so tight in your chest, you can barely think straight. If I wanted your opinion, I'd ask for it. Don't pretend you give a damn about me. The venom in your voice cuts through the air, and for a second, you think you see something flicker in his eyes. Something dark, like frustration, but edged with something hotter. He opens his mouth to reply, but before he can, a slow, wet scraping sound echoes through the church, dragging along the floor. The sun dips lower, casting an ominous red glow over the scene. Creatures inside the church. Leon doesn't hesitate. He grabs your arm and pulls you towards a shadowed corner where a small confession booth stands. You resist, glancing back at the mask that fell to the ground as he tugged you forward, but his grip tightens, dragging you into the cramped space before you can think twice. You barely make it inside before the heavy footsteps close in, filling the silence with a sickening shuffle. The pheromones hit you first, a heady, overpowering scent, sugary and dark, coating your senses like a blanket you can't escape. Your skin prickles with heat, a flush creeping up your cheeks, your pulse quickening. You bite your lip, struggling to resist the hazy, tingling sensation coursing through you. Leon's jaw tightens, his eyes narrowing as he fights the same effect. His breaths are shallow, each exhale brushing warm against your neck. His hand finds yours, the contact grounding and electric all at once. With trembling fingers, you rip open a mothball package, thrusting it close to both your noses. It helps, but not enough. The creatures slink past outside, their scent hanging in the air, winding its way into every inch of you, heightening the tension between you and Leon. You cling to his arm, feeling the tautness of his muscles as he restrains himself, his body coiled, almost as if he's battling the urge to open the door and pursue them. Yet, his hand remains firm on yours, holding you in place, anchoring you to the moment. As the creatures finally shuffle away, a tense silence fills the booth. Your hand grips the door handle, ready to chase after them, but Leon's strong grip closes over yours, holding it shut. His strength catches you off guard, and you whirl to face him, anger flaring. Leon, let's go. You're not going after them. I argue. The words ignite something fierce inside you, and without a second thought, you push him hard, pinning him back against the wall, and I smooch him! His jaw clenches, his eyes flashing with surprise and something else, darker, more open. He is still as you hold him there, waiting, his gaze steady but filled with a challenge, almost daring you. Who the hell do you think you are? You think you can just walk in here and make everything right? You've only made things worse since you showed up. I can't wait for you to leave so I can just forget all of this. Forget that you were even here. The words hit him hard. You could see the anger flash across his face, mixed with something hurt. But instead of pushing back, he just looks at you, his voice thick with frustration. Trust me, I can't wait to forget about you too. You reckless, stubborn! You cut him off, slamming him back against the wall, your lips meeting his in a desperate, furious clash. There's no thought, no caution, just raw need spilling over, the culmination of days of pent-up frustration. His hands find your waist, his fingers digging in possessively as he pulls you closer. Every movement is charged, the intensity crackling between you both. It's not soft, not gentle. There's only anger and desire, tangled up in a way that neither of you can control. A low, almost pleading sound escapes him, a crack in his control, as he turns you around, pressing you firmly but carefully against the rough wood. His lips trail down your neck, lingering with each breath, his touch reverent and hesitant, as though he's barely holding back the flood of need beneath the surface. After a moment, he pulls back, adjusting his clothes, his expression hardening as he casts his gaze towards the door, a hint of something conflicted flickering in his eyes before it fades. He glances at you, almost uncertain, as you clean yourself with a tissue and throw it away. In case anyone's wondering, Leon Kennedy just gave us the nastiest backshots in the confession booth. Like, damn! He really couldn't hold himself. Like, he really did catch the horny. I don't know what happened. He scoffs softly, tugging your pants back up. The lingering ache of him making it hard to ignore the pull you still feel. You roll your eyes at his attempt to brush it off. It's just the pheromones, Leon. Right. Just the pheromones. The tension simmers between you, and though part of you wants more, your mind is clear enough to recognize the need to leave. Now, and get the goddamn keycard! If the pheromone's effect had been any stronger, you're not sure either of you would have stopped in that cramped booth. When you mount his bike, Leon reaches back for your hands, guiding them around his waist. His fingers linger a heartbeat longer than necessary, his final touch stirring the heat that hasn't quite left your body. You rest your cheek against his back, letting the warmth of him soak into you, a small reluctant smile hidden from his veil. Understandable. You both make it back to the house, your bodies worn yet buzzing with the lingering high of pleasure. You tell yourself to forget it, to push the memory aside, but it clings to you, refusing to fade. The two of you stand in the quiet, a small distance between you, but the tension is thick, like an unspoken pull drawing you back towards each other. Your eyes meet briefly before both of you look away, awkward and uncertain. The silence presses down, broken only by the sound of your breaths. You shift, trying to focus, but your mind keeps slipping back to him, hyper-aware of his presence, his closeness, the memory of his touch still vivid in your mind. So, who gets first watch? Neither of you are looking at each other, and as you step forward, you end up bumping into him, his hands moving instinctively to steady you, his grip firm and grounding. You glance up, your eyes flickering down to his lips, your body reacting before your mind has a chance to catch up. We can, decide later. The tension in his voice mirrors your own, a hint of something more than just exhaustion or proximity. Your gaze settles on his mouth, and he hesitates only a moment before leaning in, closing the space between you. Your lips meet in a kiss that's hesitant at first, each of you testing the waters, as though unsure if it's okay to give in. But it deepens quickly, growing more urgent, a shared hunger that flares up from the quiet. Leon pulls back, his eyes scanning the room, a brief look of focus returning to his expression. We need to focus. No, we are gonna keep going, and there's nothing you can do to stop me! Go! You don't pull back. Neither does he. The kiss deepens, your breath mingling as the urgency builds, the tension stretching until it's almost unbearable. You press closer, feeling the heat radiate between you, but a faint noise breaks through the haze, a quiet shuffling sound from one of the back rooms. Leon freezes, his head turns towards the noise. Man! I'm going to ruin whoever's ruining this goddamn moment! His head turns towards the noise, but it's too late. Shadows spill into the room, townsfolk moving fast and silent. Before either of you can react, rough hands grab you from behind, dragging you backwards as you struggle, your limbs caught in their grip. Leon fights back, a flash of anger in his eyes, but he's overpowered too, forced to his knees beside you. Am I seriously going to die from being too horny? When you regain consciousness, you're in a cage, cold iron pressing against your back. Your gaze darts around the dimly lit clearing, only to see Leon lying across from you, stirring, his expression clouded and disoriented. A figure steps forward, the leader of the townsfolk, his eyes glinting with dark intent as he studies you both. I tried to reason with you, but you won't listen. So now, you'll see it. Feel it. You brush against the bars of the cage. Let us out! Soon, you'll be one of us. He disappears in the shadows, just as a sickly sweet scent fills the air, thick and cloying. It seeps into your lungs, spreading through your body with a heady warmth, fogging your thoughts, clouding your senses. Dread pulls in your stomach. You push against the bars again, desperation flooding you, but they hold fast, the unforgiving metal biting into your skin. Heat floods your veins, a flush crawling up your neck as every inch of you feels electrified, hypersensitive. You push against the bars, instinctively trying to get closer to the source of the scent, but the cage holds firm. Frustration and desire mix, intensifying with every breath as the scent works its way through you, impossible to resist. Your gaze falls on Leon, and you see he's affected too, his body tense, shivering as he grips the bars, his chest heaving. His gaze meets yours, his eyes dark and filled with the same aching need. He fights it, jaw clenched, but you can see it's only a matter of time before the pheromones overwhelm him completely. The primal urge to move, to feel, is consuming, and when the need to follow the creatures finally subsides, a different heat takes its place, pulsing through you, desperate for release. Your body's too hot, every nerve straining, and you turn to Leon, feeling the pull of him, the closeness between you, the only relief from the unbearable ache. You reach out, your hand finding his, and he shudders under your touch, his grip tightening, as if holding on to you is the only thing keeping him grounded. I can't take it anymore. I need you. You close the distance between you, succumbing to the pull, your mind hazy. In that moment, nothing else matters. Not the cage, not the watching eyes, not the twisted situation you find yourselves in. There's only you and him, lost in the heat that won't fade.
Are you shitting me?
The tape comes out of the TV. No! No! That can't be the way it ends! I grab it. I should give this to someone. God damn it, Guy! Wait! Do I need to go through this again? Someone is humming a spooky tune. Oh, hey, you're back. Come, let's have a talk. Please don't tell me that's the way it ends. Please don't tell me that's the way it ends. You return the VHS to her, and she smiles at you. Thanks. How was it? I hope you enjoyed the tape. We tried some different ingredients this time. What are the tapes? They allow us to connect to AUs, aka alternate universes. They're made with ingredients we gather on our travels like slow burn embers and cliché caramel. Which ingredients are you using for the next tape? Not sure yet. The crew members will be meeting soon to decide. Voting always happens at the beginning of the month, so remember to vote. The travel logs will be updated once a decision is made. That's all for now. Sure thing, darling. If you need anything, you know where to find me. Thank you for being on this journey with us. We need to go back! We need to go back and get the other ending. God damn it. Okay, we are definitely pulling back. We are not giving in to the horny. We can't give in to the horny. I need the good ending. You pull back, sensing something in his tone, a subtle warning. He's picking up on something, and his instincts are rarely wrong. Take a deep breath. You glance around, steadying yourself as your pulse slows. Right. Let's check everything first. The two of you move quietly through the house, but a chill of unease spreads through you when you spot it. The window, slightly ajar, a faint sign of tampering. A surge of panic hits, and Leon quickly motions for you to be silent, his gaze sharp and focused. You barely have time to grab a few essentials before he gestures towards the door, urgency clear in his eyes. As you reach the bike, Leon climbs on, holding steady as you settle behind him. Just then, shadows emerge from your house, townsfolk creeping towards you with barely a sound. You barely duck in time as one of them takes aim, bullets grazing the air as Leon speeds off, guiding you both out of danger. You ride silently into the forest, the night stretching on around you, as you pull into the cover of an old campsite, a secluded hideout you kept hidden for emergencies. The adrenaline fades, leaving you shivering, and Leon pulls you close, wrapping you in a protective warmth. Thank you for being there. Leon shakes his head slightly, a small, almost self-deprecating smile tugging at his lips. I didn't realize. It's nice. Having someone to watch your back. He glances at you, his expression softening, and for a moment, something shifts in the space between you. Something unspoken that settles warm and heavy in your chest. Nice and terrifying. You nod, sensing a quiet kinship in him. Even with so little time together, it feels like your souls are crafted from the same battered material, scarred but unbreakable, forged by the same fire. But I think I might want to try dealing with that feeling. There's a quiet vulnerability in his voice that makes you pause, and you find yourself nodding again, more slowly. Me too. He holds your gaze, the silence stretching out, carrying a weight you're both aware of, but neither of you is ready to name. Gradually, the conversation shifts back to practicalities, and the two of you settle down, discussing the final plan in low voices as the night stretches on. But as dawn approaches, that sense of purpose gives way to something softer, something that feels like peace, a quiet acknowledgement of what you're facing and the strange comfort you've found in each other. It's an unspoken promise, lingering between you as the first light begins to filter in. The day has finally come. You've spent what feels like a lifetime preparing for this, scavenging supplies, gathering weapons, and planning every possible step. On the way here, you even ran into a strange merchant, as if he'd appear out of thin air. He was selling Molotov cocktails and incendiary grenades, and you still have no idea where he came from, or where he disappeared to afterwards. Now, with everything you've acquired stashed in worn duffel bags, you approach the lab, Leon walking beside you in tense silence. The air feels charged, the kind of stillness that presses down on you, like the world itself knows that something is about to end. Today is the final day. One way or another, it'll all be over. You sure about this? Last chance to turn back. You nod, tightening your grip on your pendant. There's no need to say it. You're beyond turning back now. You've spent too long fighting to end this nightmare. At last, you'll fulfill your promise. Here goes nothing, everything. With a swift, practiced motion, Leon uses the keycord on the rusted door. It swings open with a groan, and you step into the darkness of the lab, the stale air thick with decay and memories. Leon murmurs into his radio, requesting directions, his voice low and controlled. Then, together, you step into the darkness of the lab, your senses on high alert. The tunnels are dimly lit, shadows pooling in every corner, and it isn't long before the creatures start to emerge, drawn by the scent of the living. You and Leon fall into sync immediately, wielding fire and steel like extensions of yourselves. The flamethrower roars to life, bathing the corridors in flickering orange as you burn through the waves of creatures that come at you, one after another. Their shrieks fill the narrow space, echoing off the walls, but you don't hesitate. You push forward, side by side, determined to see this through. In one of the tunnels, Leon stumbles upon the remains of the team he'd been searching for. He didn't make it. The grim realization hardens his expression, and something fierce flickers in his eyes. With renewed fury, he presses forward, his strikes becoming sharper, his movements more aggressive, as if each creature he cuts down might somehow make up for their loss. Finally, you reach the nest. It's a massive cavern, the walls crawling with the sickly pale forms of the creatures, their larvae pulsing in clusters like grotesque flowers. The sight makes your skin crawl, but you steel yourself, knowing this is the heart of it all. This is what needs to be destroyed. Well, that's disgusting. Almost makes me miss the zombies. Zombies? Zombies. And before you ask, no, you don't want details. As you set down the bag, Leon starts to unroll the explosives, but as soon as you both start placing charges, you realize you're clashing, your movements disjointed, your plans conflicting. If we don't cover the eastern side, they'll swarm us before we can even set this off. And if we don't secure the exit first, we'll be dead in here. I know how they move better than you do. This isn't about knowing them, it's about strategy. Just follow my lead. Your egos flare, your resentment boiling over. This was supposed to be your mission, your fight. You can't let him call the shots. Not now. Not here. The argument escalates, the tension snapping as your voices rise, filling the cavern. You don't notice a subtle movement in the shadows, the way the creatures are watching, listening, drawn to the discord between you. Suddenly, they surge forward, exploiting the rift between you. One grabs Leon, pulling him away as he shouts your name, his voice panicked. Another tackles you, sinking claws into your shoulders as you struggle. But it's too late. You're separated, each of you fighting on your own, overwhelmed. In the end, your last thought is regret, wishing you had found a way to work together. But that chance is gone now, swallowed by darkness.
Wait, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Apparently, following Leon's idea was the bad call. I did not know this. I'm going to follow my gut.
I know this place. If there's anything left, it'll be here on the first floor. Leon lets out a sigh, clearly annoyed. You sure you're not just being stubborn? Help me look or don't. Your call. You don't wait for him to argue, already scanning the room, checking through the lockers and overturned shelves. It's slow work, and you can feel Leon's impatience radiating off of him. Every so often, he glances towards the stairs, clearly itching to go up. Minutes drag by, and you start to wonder if he might be right. But then, behind a pile of fallen cabinets, you find a stash of masks tucked away in an old duffel bag. You pull it out, a strange sense of relief settling over you. As you unzip the bag, a small slip of paper falls out. A note, yellowed and creased. You unfold it slowly, recognizing the familiar, rough handwriting immediately. It's from your father. In case you ever need it, sweetheart. Hope you're long gone by the time anyone finds this. Live a good life. Somewhere safe. You swallow hard, a lump forming in your throat. Leon's still scanning the room, oblivious. For a second, you consider showing him the note, sharing that piece of yourself, just this once, but then the walls come back up, solid and unyielding. You fold the paper and slip it into your pocket. Leon's voice breaks through the quiet. Find anything? Yeah, found some mask. Like I said I would. You hold him up, forcing your voice to stay steady, as if nothing just happened. He nods, satisfied, and gestures towards the exit. Good. Let's get out of here. And on to the construction site. Alright, over here we're supposed to make them leave, so we're gonna do just that. Go talk to them. What? Me? Yes. Tell them you saw a woman in the forest with explosives and you came to warn them. Leon gives you a look, somewhere between skeptical and annoyed. What? You think I'm some kind of actor? You already act like a clown half the time. Shouldn't be too hard. He rolls his eyes, muttering something under his breath, but after a reluctant shake of his head, he disappears into the shadows. You stay back, listening to him spin the tale you fed him. His voice is low and steady, just convincing enough. Before long, hurried footsteps echo through the construction site as the townsfolk move off in the direction he pointed them. Leon reappears, looking surprised. They must really hate you. Ready to admit my plan was the best? It wasn't that bad. You blink, momentarily thrown. Did he just give you credit? Well, don't get too generous with the compliments. Now you ruined the moment. The ghost of a smirk tugs at his mouth, a flicker of something almost playful in his eyes before he jerks his head in a silent gesture to keep moving. All right, let's get to the facility, because I don't want to go through all this all over again. Moving in perfect sync, you and Leon communicate silently, exchanging looks and gestures as you position the explosives around the nest with practiced efficiency. It's as though you've been partners for years, each movement seamlessly coordinated, guided by a quiet understanding. Leon pauses, glancing at you with a faint, almost wistful smile. Guess this is it, huh? One last goodbye to this hellhole. Remind me to leave a bad Yelp review. You chuckle, steeling yourself as he takes aim at the first explosive. His finger tightens on the trigger, and with a single shot, he ignites the charge. The explosion tears through the nest, fire and debris raining down as the walls shake, the entire structure beginning to collapse. Run! He grabs your hand, and together, you sprint through the tunnels, dodging falling beams and crumbling walls. The roar of the explosions echoes behind you, the ground trembling between your feet. Adrenaline surges through you, pushing you forward, step by desperate step. You make it outside, just as the building collapses entirely, a cloud of dust and ash billowing into the sky. For a moment, relief overwhelms you, and you sink to the ground, catching your breath. But it's short-lived. Emerging from the shadows, the townsfolk gather, their face twisted with fury.
What did you do?
Just some light redecorating. Thought the place could use a little more airflow. Leon grabs your hand again, and you both take off, sprinting towards his bike at the edge of the forest. He starts it up, and you cling to him as he accelerates, tearing down the narrow road leading out of town. But the townsfolk are already blocking the way. There figures a wall of resistance, determined to stop you from leaving. Suddenly, the roar of engines cuts through the tension. Black cars appear on the road ahead, their sleek forms glinting in the fading light as they screech to a halt. Reinforcements spill out, armed agents and soldiers surrounding you both. Well, look at that! Fashionably late as usual. Nice of them to show up after we did all the hard work. The townsfolk falter, their expressions shifting to fear as they realize they're outmatched. Within moments, they scatter, disappearing into the alleys and shadows. A shaky sigh escapes you, the tension in your body finally loosening as safety settles over you, tangible and real. You get off the bike and look over at Leon, equally exhausted but relieved. The weight of the mission's end pressing down on both of you. The agents will take care of everything now. It's over. You reach for the pendant around your neck, kissing it gently, a silent tribute to the journey that brought you here. You made it. You survived. But as the adrenaline fades, a new kind of fear begins to creep in. A fear of the unknown, of what lies beyond this moment. What now? The words linger in the air, uncertain. The life you once knew feels like a distant memory, and an ache builds in your chest as you realize there is nothing left to return to. Leon's gaze softens, and he extends a hand towards you, offering a gentle, reassuring smile. Well, I hear boring is all the rage these days. Want to give it a try? I can show you what it means to be normal again. You raise an eyebrow, a faint smile tugging at your lips. As if you know what that means. He laughs, a warm, genuine sound that dispels the last of the tension from his face. Maybe I don't, but we can figure it out together. For a moment, you hesitate, your eyes meeting his, seeing something in his gaze that you hadn't noticed before. A promise, a shared understanding of what you've both endured and what might lie ahead. Slowly, you reach out, taking his hand, feeling the warmth of his grip steadying you, grounding you in this uncertain future. Together, you step forward towards whatever the future holds. Now, you have a new mission, one shaped by hope, resilience, and the possibility of something more.
No, sweet! The end! We didn't get all the scenes, though. There's one other scene I want. So I found out that depending on where you actually visit last, that is where you get the romantic scene with Leon, as well as the spiciness that comes with it. So we're just gonna get through it. The weight of the past presses down on you, so heavy, it almost takes your breath away. You swallow hard, feeling a lump form in your throat. Everything comes crashing down all at once. Memories, the stress, and the presence of Leon beside you. All stirring emotions you'd thought buried. Your hands tremble, the dam breaking as a shuddering breath escapes. And then, despite all your efforts, the tears spill over. Leon's gaze snaps to you, his expression shifting as he realizes what's happening. He hesitates, but then he steps closer, his voice softer, uncertain. Hey, are you... You shake your head, unable to form words. Instead, you reach into your pocket, pulling out the memento from your father. Leon's eyes widen as he takes it in, understanding flooding his expression. He reaches out, his hand brushing your shoulder, grounding you. And that touch, gentle, understanding, undoes you completely. The vulnerability you've been trying to hide, the pain, the frustration, all pour out. You meet his gaze, raw and exposed, and something shifts in his eyes,
A softness, a protectiveness that you've never seen there before. Slowly, he pulls you into his arms, his embrace steady and warm as you tremble against him. I failed him. You didn't. How do you know? He says nothing at first, only trails his hand gently down your back, his touch soothing, easing away the ache bit by bit. You've been fighting so long to protect others from these things, and you're still here, still standing. That's what I tell myself whenever I think of my parents, that they're proud of me. Because I'm still here, still trying to help in any way I can, despite everything. The tears begin to slow, his words settling over you like a balm. You pull back just enough to look at him, your gaze searching. Why are you saying this? I thought you wanted to keep your distance. That last night didn't mean anything to you. His face is close now, so close that you can see the flicker of something vulnerable in his eyes. No, that was the problem. It meant everything. A beat passes, the air between you charged, heavy with words left unsaid. Then slowly, you both lean in. His lips find yours in a kiss that starts gentle, hesitant, but quickly turns desperate, bruising, silencing the weight of everything else. His hands slide to your hips, gripping tightly as he pulls you closer, his warmth grounding you, surrounding you. Leon, I'm here. I got you. With a careful touch, he guides you down onto a pile of thick, layered fire blankets he'd spread out on the floor, each movement tender yet charged with urgency. As you pull apart, adjusting your clothes, there's a vulnerability in the air, an unspoken promise hanging between you. You straighten, voice low, almost reluctant. This doesn't change anything. Leon nods, but there's something in his eyes that tells you he knows better. Of course. As you move through the station, he offers his hand to help you over a piece of broken furniture, and when you take it, he doesn't let go right away. His thumb grazes over your fingers, and then, in a voice soft and filled with an unexpected warmth, he speaks. He'd be proud of you. For staying. For fighting. The words cut through, tender and sincere, and your voice comes out in a whisper. Yeah, you're right. There are no more words as you both exit the station, but the warmth of his hand lingers against yours, the silent understanding between you. Enough for now. And I guess right now it's a good time to skip to the last scene. Let's go. I'm just wondering if you plan on strutting around like that. We're here for supplies, not a show. He chuckles, tossing the torn shirt aside with a smirk. As much as you'd left that, I've got a spare on my bike. Unless, of course, you want me to stay like this. Without missing a beat, you raise an eyebrow, leaning in just enough to make him hesitate. And what if I do? He swallows, his playful facade slipping as he closes the space between you into purposeful strides, your gaze holding his with a silent, unspoken challenge. What would you do, Leon? Obey? His eyes widen slightly, his back pressing against the crate, caught between wanting to pull you closer and the tension thickening in the air between you. I don't think that's the only thing thickening right now. Well, he really is thickening. His breath hitches, and for a moment, he's entirely at your mercy, his gaze drifting down to your lips before flickering back up, the silent answer written all over his face. I'd listen. His voice is rough, barely more than a whisper. You tilt your head, letting the silence linger, savoring the way his body tenses, how his hands clench at his sides as he waits, every muscle wound tight with anticipation. What else would you do? You step closer, your breath ghosting over his cheek, your lips just inches from his ear. Tell me. He hesitates, his gaze flickering between your eyes and lips, his voice thick with the tension simmering between you. Whatever you want. A shiver runs through him as he says it, his words carrying a silent, desperate plea. His breathing quickens, his body distinctively leaning towards you, his control unraveling one frayed thread at a time. But he holds a distance, savoring his struggle to keep his composure as you linger, each second stretching out, testing his resolve. Then tell me, why are you pushing me away? He swallows hard, the conflict in his eyes deepening. It's better this way. Do you really think so? His jaw clenches, a flicker of vulnerability flashing across his face. He's teetering over the edge, and you decide to tip him over. I am gonna do it! I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna bite! Your lips brush over his pulse, feeling the rapid beat under his skin. Then, with a slow deliberation, you let your teeth graze his neck, biting just hard enough to leave a faint red mark. He sucks in a deep breath, his grip on the crate tightening, every line of his body going rigid as he holds back a groan. You take your time, marking his skin, inch by inch, each spot a small claim. His head tips back, exposing his throat, the control he's holding on to slipping with each second. God, you're making this hard. His voice is ragged, strained with barely contained desire. You pull back just slightly, smirking as his gaze meets yours, filled with a mixture of frustration and need. Answer me, Leon. Is it better this way? He's breathing heavily now, his chest rising and falling against your hand, his eyes dark with the battle raging inside of him. He swallows, his voice barely steady. No. A spark of triumph flares in your chest, but you keep your composure, raising an eyebrow, issuing one last silent challenge. Then maybe you should let go for once. For a split second, surprise flickers across his face, followed by a flash of determination. It's as if your words finally break the last of his restraint, with a roughness that sends a thrill through you. His hands find your waist, pulling you close. His lips crash against yours, the kiss fierce, desperate, everything he's been holding back spilling over in one intense moment. But then, a faint noise sounds from somewhere nearby, a soft scuffling, barely perceptible, but enough to cut through the haze. You pause, pulling back just enough to break the spell, and he's left standing there, flushed, breathing hard, his eyes filled with a mixture of embarrassment and raw need. Silently, he grabs the bag of supplies, his hands unsteady, his gaze shifting away from you with a kind of reverence, as though he's trying to regain his composure. The tension between you lingers as you walk back to the bike, his steps slower than usual, as if the weight of what just happened is pressing down on him. When you reach the bike, you climb on behind him, wrapping your arms around his waist without a second thought. He stiffens, his muscles going taut beneath your touch, and a slight flush creeps up his neck. You're close enough to sense every shift of his body, the tension he's holding on to. The engine roars to life as he drives off. You lean forward, resting your cheek against his back, feeling the steady beat of his heart. A small, secretive smile plays on your lips, knowing full well that the memory of your touch, of that kiss, is something he won't be able to shake off that easily. Anyway, that was Requiem's Echo. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. And if you do want to see the spicy scenes which I cut from this gameplay, you can check them out over on the Patreon. Link to that is in the comments as usual. But this one's another banger. This one's another banger by Kaiway. I genuinely love the interactions between Leon and MC. And it was fun. It was fun. And I genuinely feel like I should be playing Resident Evil right now just to hear him whimper again. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.